There are just over 25 million registered vehicles in Canada, according to Transport Canada's most recent registration data. The majority of them are operating on a maintenance schedule that was not designed for the climate they are driven in. Not because the owners made a careless decision, because the vehicle they bought was engineered with a degradation clock already running, calibrated to expire just after the protection they paid for runs out. The manufacturer's legal team reviewed the failure data before the warranty language was written. The dealer who handed you the keys had a service department scheduled to receive you 18 months later. The fluid in your engine, your transmission, and your cooling system was selected by a procurement contract, not by an engineer who had ever driven in Edmonton in January. That is what this video is. Not a review, not a list. A record of what was done to your vehicle before you owned it, what it costs when it arrives, and what the industry counted on you never finding out. My name is Abraham. This is Drivin' Broke. Start with the thing closest to the engine. Start with the oil. Engineering studies on cold start engine wear consistently show that a disproportionate share of total cylinder wall and bearing wear occurs in the first 60 to 90 seconds after a cold start, before oil pressure has fully built and before the film between metal surfaces is complete. Not over the life of the engine, not cumulatively across a hard winter. In the first 90 seconds of every single cold start, before the oil has fully circulated, before the pressure has reached the upper end, before the bearings and cylinder walls have a protective film between them, that is when the damage happens. Every morning, every commute, every trip to the grocery store in Winnipeg in February where the overnight low was -28 and the engine sat for 14 hours. The factory oil in your vehicle was not chosen for that. It was chosen for a blended North American market that includes Phoenix and Atlanta and Charlotte. The viscosity grade, the additive package, the recommended change interval, all of it calibrated to average conditions in a market that is not you. In Edmonton, in Calgary, in Saskatoon, in Thunder Bay, -25 is not a weather event. It is January. It is also February. It is sometimes March. And in those temperatures, a 5W30 conventional or entry-level synthetic does not behave the way the owner's manual assumed it would when that manual was written. The cold cranking performance difference between a 5W30 and a 0W40 full synthetic at -30 is not marginal. It is the difference between oil that reaches critical engine surfaces in 90 seconds and oil that takes 3 to 4 minutes to fully circulate. In those extra minutes, metal is contacting metal with no film between them. This happens every morning. This is cumulative. This is how an engine with 60,000 kilometers on it shows wear patterns that belong on one with 140,000. Let that sit for a moment. The dealer who serviced your vehicle is buying oil on a bulk contract. The price per liter, not the performance specification, drives that contract. Canadian Tire's house brand oil sits on the same shelf as the premium synthetics. Your service bay is using whichever one costs less per case. They are not lying to you about this. They simply have no financial interest in telling you unprompted. The correct interval for a vehicle operating in severe Canadian winter conditions is not the sticker on your windshield. It is not the number in your manual. Under short, cold commute conditions, trips under 20 minutes that never bring the engine to full operating temperature, the correct interval is 5,000 kilometers maximum. Not 8, not 10, not 12,000, which is what some manufacturer maintenance schedules now print as standard. The cost of getting this wrong is not abstract. Upper engine wear repair on a 2.0-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, the platform sitting under the hood of most Canadian crossovers and compact trucks, sold in the last 8 years, runs $4,000 to $9,000, depending on how long the wear was allowed to accumulate. A full synthetic oil change on the correct cold climate interval costs $40 to $60 more per year than following the factory schedule. The math is not complicated. But the oil is only the first clock running on your vehicle. There is a second one. And the language the manufacturer used to hide it was chosen very carefully. Lifetime fluid. 2 words printed in your owner's manual, repeated by every service advisor who has ever recommended against a transmission service, backed by every manufacturer who wrote a powertrain warranty that expires before the failure it was designed to avoid. Lifetime means the fluid will last as long as the transmission lasts. Read that again. Not as long as you own the vehicle. Not as long as the vehicle is on the road. As long as the transmission lasts, and the manufacturer's engineers know exactly how long that is under the operating conditions they use to generate that projection. Those conditions were not Quebec City in March. They were not stop-and-go traffic on the Dakari in January, where the transmission cycles through heat and cold 20 times in a 40-minute commute. They were not towing a boat trailer up the grade on Highway 60 through Algonquin, or hauling a sled trailer out of a field in -22 in Saskatchewan. Transmission fluid shears under load. It oxidizes under heat. It loses viscosity and temperature extremes. In Canadian operating conditions, freeze-thaw cycling, severe cold starts, stop-and-go winter traffic, gradient towing transmission fluid degrades faster than any warm climate market the manufacturer used to build their lifetime projection. Here is the betrayal mechanism. The manufacturer warranties the transmission, not the fluid. When the transmission fails, the warranty adjuster examines the fluid condition. If the fluid shows degradation and after 5 Canadian winters on a lifetime fill, the claim is denied. Fluid condition, owner's responsibility. The warranty that was supposed to protect you was written around a fluid specification that the operating conditions of your actual life were guaranteed to violate. A transmission rebuild on a 6-speed automatic in a half-ton truck runs $3,500 to $7,000 depending on the platform and where you take it. A drain and fill service, not a flush. A drain and fill runs $150 to $250. Under severe Canadian operating conditions, that service is appropriate every 40 to 60,000 kilometers. Some of you just got angry. Good. The anger means you understood what was just said. The fix is not complicated. The drain and fill exists. It is cheap. The reason most Canadian owners never do it is that the word lifetime convinced them it was already handled. That word was chosen for that exact purpose. The manufacturer does not need you to perform that service. The transmission rebuilder does. That is the pattern. Hold the transmission thought, because the next failure is structural. It does not show up on a fluid analysis. It does not appear on a service report. And in Saskatchewan, in Manitoba, in Northern Ontario, the road that triggers it is every road, every single winter. Control arm bushings, ball joints, tie rod ends. These are not glamorous components. They are rubber and metal and grease, and they are what physically connect your vehicle to the road at every corner of the frame. They are also engineered to a cost per unit tolerance that reflects average road quality in a blended North American market. Canadian roads are not average. The pothole formation cycle in Winnipeg, Regina, and Saskatoon runs from the first freeze-thaw event in late October through the final breakup in April. In a severe winter, Environment Canada temperature records for Winnipeg show repeated above and below zero crossings from November through March conditions that infrastructure engineers classify as high freeze-thaw exposure, and that Manitoba's own road maintenance reports cite as the primary driver of annual pothole formation costs exceeding $30 million provincially. Each cycle opens the road surface. Each opening collects water. Each water-filled crack freezes, expands, and fractures the pavement further. By March, the road surface that your suspension components are absorbing is not a road. It is a sequence of impacts. Road salt applied from October through April across every major Canadian municipality attacks the rubber bushings from the outside while impact loading destroys the joint geometry from the inside. The factory inspection interval does not reflect this. The factory inspection interval reflects a road surface that does not exist north of the 49th parallel in February. I know what you are thinking. You had your vehicle inspected. The dealer said everything looked fine. A dealership visual inspection of ball joint condition identifies terminal failure. It identifies the joint that is about to separate. It does not identify the joint that has lost 30% of its load-bearing capacity and will reach terminal failure in the next winter season. That joint passes inspection. It passes because the inspection protocol was written to find what is already broken, not what is about to break. A ball joint that separates at highway speed does not produce a repair bill. It produces an accident. The proactive replacement of a worn ball joint caught before failure runs $800 to $1,800, depending on the vehicle platform and whether the control arm comes with it. The consequence of separation at speed includes towing, collision repair, alignment, potential frame assessment, and liability starting at $4,000 and climbing without a ceiling depending on what the vehicle contacts when the geometry fails. Every mechanic in Canada has seen this. Most have seen it more than once. The proactive service is not expensive. The failure is. The system profits when you perform the inspection on the manufacturer's schedule instead of the road schedule. Those are not the same schedule in Winnipeg. They are not the same schedule anywhere that sees a Canadian winter. That is the reset. The first three failures on this list are catchable. The next one is different. It does not produce a symptom. It does not set a code. It does not warn you with a noise or a light or a handling change. It simply waits until the operating conditions of a Canadian winter reach a specific threshold, and then it presents you with a number most owners have never budgeted for. Stop here for 30 seconds. Open your last service, invoice the one from your most recent oil change. Find three things: what oil grade they used, what the outside temperature was the week you brought it in, and how many kilometers were on it when you went. Post all three in the comments below. I will personally tell you whether the grade matched your climate and whether the interval was already too long for your actual operating conditions. I want to see the real numbers from real Canadian driveways, not what the manual says should be happening. What is actually happening? Engine coolant has a freeze point. That freeze point is determined by the concentration of ethylene glycol in the water mixture. The factory fill on most North American vehicles is mixed at a concentration calibrated for average continental conditions, a freeze point somewhere between -30 and -37, depending on the manufacturer. In Edmonton, Environment Canada historical records show overnight lows regularly reaching -35 to -40 during January cold snaps, with the 2024 winter producing multiple nights below -38 in the Place, Greater Edmonton area. In Whitehorse, -43 is not an outlier. In Prince George and Yellowknife, temperatures below the factory coolant's designed freeze threshold are not rare events. They are a predictable portion of every winter. Coolant concentration degrades over time. The inhibitor package that maintains the freeze point breaks down. The water ratio shifts as the system is topped off over years of ownership. A vehicle that left the factory with adequate concentration for Edmonton's climate is running a degraded mixture by its third winter, and degraded means a freeze point that has risen. A freeze point that may now sit above the actual ambient temperature on a January night in northern Alberta. Coolant that freezes in the block does not freeze gradually. It expands. Cast iron and aluminium do not flex. They crack. Engine block failure on a V8 truck platform, the F-150, the Silverado, the Ram 1000. 500 routinely bills 40 to 60 hours of labor for engine removal alone. At Canadian dealership labor rates currently sitting between $130 and $160 per hour in Alberta and Ontario, that labor line reaches $5,000 to $9,600 before a single part is ordered. Total repair cost, including parts, machining, and reassembly, runs $8,000 to $16,000 depending on whether the block can be saved or requires full replacement. Head gasket failure from thermal stress caused by coolant freeze or boil overruns, $2,000 to $5,500, depending on whether the head surface has warped and requires machining in addition to the gasket. Replacement. A coolant service drain, flush, refill with correct concentration verified by refractometer runs $150 to $250 at a competent independent shop. It is a maintenance item. It is also the item most systematically skipped because the factory fill carries no visible service indicator and the owner's manual interval does not reflect severe Canadian operating conditions. The manufacturer who set that interval knows what happens when coolant fails in a northern climate. The interval they printed was calibrated to clear the powertrain warranty window. After that window, the repair cost lands on the owner. There is one more thing this video needs to cover, and it is the one that connects everything we have discussed to a number that does not appear on any repair invoice because it was already collected from you before you signed anything. Every failure covered in this video produces a repair bill. The repair bill is visible. You can read it, dispute it, budget around it. What does not appear on a repair bill is what deferred maintenance does to the resale value of your vehicle, and in the Canadian used market, that number is not small. A vehicle with 5 years of factory interval oil changes under Canadian severe duty conditions, a transmission that has never been serviced, suspension components that were inspected on dealer protocol rather than road protocol, and a coolant system that has never been tested for winter concentration, that vehicle looks fine on paper. The service records show on-time oil changes. The Carfax shows no accidents. The odometer shows a reasonable number. The appraiser at the dealer trade-in desk does not read Carfax. The appraiser drives the vehicle. The appraiser listens to the startup. The appraiser puts it on the hoist. In 15 minutes, a trained appraiser can read 5 years of deferred cold climate maintenance in the engine note, the fluid condition, the suspension geometry, and the corrosion pattern on the underbody. They do not tell you what they found. They tell you a number. and the number reflects what they found. The trade-in gap on a 5-year-old vehicle showing visible signs of deferred cold climate maintenance in the Canadian used market runs $3,000 to $8,000 below what the same vehicle with documented correct interval service commands. That gap does not appear on a repair invoice. It was collected from you at the moment you accepted the trade-in offer. The dealer who offered you that number bought the vehicle low and reconditioned it for resale. They corrected the fluids, serviced the suspension, and sold the vehicle to the next owner at a margin that the previous owner funded. This is not illegal. It is the operating model. It functions because the previous owner did not know what the appraiser knew. The correct cold climate maintenance protocol for a Canadian vehicle upgraded oil interval at 5,000 kilometers with full synthetic, transmission drain and fill every 50 to 60,000 kilometers, proactive suspension inspection on road condition schedule rather than dealer schedule, coolant service every 3 years, with concentration verification costs approximately $1,200 to $2,400, over 5 years done consistently at an independent shop. The cost of inaction over the same 5 years, measured across repair exposure, warranty denial risk, and trade-in gap, runs $8,000 to $22,000 depending on platform, climate severity, and which component fails first. That math does not need my help. The manufacturer who set your maintenance intervals profits when those intervals are too long. The dealer who services your vehicle on bulk contract fluids profits when the interval is followed as printed. The trade-in desk profits when the vehicle arrives degraded. The extended warranty company profits when the failure they excluded from coverage arrives on schedule. Every party in that chain understood what the Canadian winter would do to your vehicle. None of them had a financial interest in telling you. Subscribe. Because next week we are going inside the extended warranty contract, specifically the clause that most Canadian aftermarket warranty holders have never read, the one that voids coverage on cooling system and powertrain failures caused by what the contract calls owner negligence maintenance deviation. That clause was written by a legal team that knew exactly which failures arrive first in a Canadian winter. They wrote it to exclude those failures and collect the premium anyway. Next week's video will read that clause line by line. Bring your warranty document. You are going to want to have it in front of you.